Here we see another fresco, which is buildings by the water. This was found in Pompeii and would have been created somewhere between 62 after the earthquake and obviously before Vesuvius erupted. Pliny records that it was Spurius Tatius who worked during the reign of Emperor Augustus, who first painted pictures of seaside cities, and he created something that looked quite good at very little cost. Though they were meant to be idyllic, this fresco probably depicts buildings along the Bay of Naples and shows us exactly what they look like. One of the reasons why so many buildings were built on the shore was there was no maritime threat. Rome's navy looked after that, and therefore the Bay of Naples was just studded throughout with many, many buildings right up to the shore. Here we see another fresco of warships. This one is crowded with soldiers, and warships were a familiar sight to Pompeii residents, basically because there was a naval base at Misenum, which is about 30 k's across the bay. These are the ships that would have been sent by Pliny on a rescue mission when Vesuvius first erupted. And here they're used as kind of a decorative motif, I guess, on the frescoed wall of the Temple of Isis at Pompeii. You can see one of the ships is kind of moving towards the colonnaded maritime buildings, and if you look closely, there appears to be another ship which has been wrecked in the foreground. One of the ways that naval battles occurred was firing these huge ballista balls, hoping to clear the decks of enemy ships of the troops that we've seen depicted in some of these frescoes and reliefs, and also obviously do pretty serious damage to the ships themselves. This particular ball was fired into Pompeii when it rebelled against Rome in 89 BC. We know that Sulla put down that rebellion, just some Italians came in and took Pompeii and went to go further to Stabiae, etc. Here we have a relief of a Roman warship. This is found at Cumae. It's made of marble around the end of the 1st century BC. And this is from a monument near the Roman naval base at Misenum. We see at the stern of the ship, there's the Porsarius. That's the guy with the drum who's keeping the rowers in time that you often see in Hollywood movies. And the larger man facing the rowers is probably the Trirarch. That's the captain of the ship. This is lent to us by the Museo dei Campi Flegra in Napoli. Continuing looking at reliefs of warships, here's a relief that depicts 2 warships found in Naples. It's made from stone, somewhere between 200 to 30 BC. And the warships that we see here are ready for battle. You can see they've got armed troops on deck, with even the helmsmen wearing helmets, and that deck protects the 2 levels of oarsmen who are below. Also, that space could have been used if you're rescuing civilians. And this is an example of one of those helmets. This is from the Battle of Agates Islands. It's an iron helmet. It's from 241 BC, so a while before Vesuvius eruption. Each ship had soldiers to board and capture enemy ships, and obviously to defend their own, and this was part of the armour that was required as protection against those ballista balls, against those missiles, or smaller things. Probably one of those missiles coming at you from range. This helmet's not going to do much, but obviously an arrow might be deflected from it. And obviously, in hand-to-hand fighting, a helmet can be helpful. In this battle in particular of Agates Islands, the Romans sank 50 ships, captured 70, and took 10,000 men prisoner. That is according to Polybius, the historian.